I'm joined now on set by Sharif Bibi from that group. Thank you very much for being with us.
Yeah.
First of all, just how did your team go about making this film?
Actually, this film was a bit hard to be done because, like as it shows, it's basically animation. We don't have any footage. We don't have any real photos of whatever is going on of the real story. So all what we were based on is the story of Mariam and whatever she told us. The film was to start with. It was so hard to work with. Like the team, the journalists who were working on it, it was like a real pressure on them, because like this story, as it shows, it's so tense. You know, like it's and this story by itself, it speaks about loads and loads of other stories we had. Like since we started till now, we've got like we encountered lots of stories of sex and slavery in Libya, men, women, children. It wasn't that easy.
We saw at the very top of that short extract two of your colleagues talking there to camera, discussing the film. How did this film and the whole process of making it change them as journalists? What did they encounter?
Basically, when working in journalism, you have to keep your distance with whatever you're working on whatever story, no matter how much you feel related to. But in this specific types of stories, it's so hard to keep yourself out of it. The journalists who were working on it, they were really professional. They always tried to keep a distance away from the real story. But of course, you realize like the journalists, they were like young women who were working on a story of another young woman who was stuck in Libya, going through the hell she went through. It was hard, but eventually they were able to keep their distance and to come up with this result.
Okay, let's talk about Mariam and her sister, her 6-year-old sister, I think. Do we have any more news about where they are now and how safe they are?
Yeah, actually, that's a bit interesting, because on the 19th of March, we lost contact with Mariam, and we knew nothing about her, like whatever was going on. Like we were in the black area, and we presumed like lots of scenarios. Most of them were like bad scenarios. But on the 6th of April, the team who were working on the film, they received a message saying, "Hello, I'm Mariam, I'm alive." And that's when the team recontacted Mariam and started talking to her again. So Mariam now is in Europe, somewhere in Europe. She prefers not to say, because like she's still scared of whatever might happen if anybody knows where she is. And she's hoping for getting an asylum in either France or Belgium, because she comes from Ivory Coast, French speaking, and she would love to be in a French-speaking country.
And just very briefly, this is, of course, very clearly a tragic story, but it's not a one-off, is it?
No, of course not. Of course not. As I told you, like we got lots of stories like Mariam's. Well, not in the details that we have from Mariam, because like that, this is the first time we were able to cope day to day with the victim. But like we had stories of enslavement, we had stories of selling people as slaves in Tripoli and other areas in Libya. We have also other sex enslavement stories of men, basically African men in Libya. All of it, which is really tragic, and it says a lot about the whole situation in Libya.